What's your magic number? The age that when you hit that birthday, you know that you will be undeniably, unequivocally old. Is it 50? 60? 70? My magic number didn't wait politely for a birthday. It hit me like a bolt of lightning when I least expected it. Tuesday, November 4th, 2008. Like the rest of the world, I was watching Barack Obama on TV declare his historic victory. The crowd was cheering and weeping and hugging. Everybody on the planet seemed to be caught up in all the joy and the drama. And me? Well, I was happy. But the thought that kept pounding in my head that night was, my God, I am older than the president. How did that happen? I wasn't supposed to get old. Getting old was for other people. I couldn't be old yet. I hadn't sailed Madagascar. I hadn't seen the Northern Lights. But there I was, a 48-year-old black woman with kids at home, a demanding job, responsibilities to my community. The whole idea of the gap year I'd missed 25 years ago, it was time to give that up. It was time to accept that I was elderly, that I was going to spend the rest of my life arthritic. Like a lot of women, I tumbled out of college into marriage and parenthood and career building without much planning, without much forethought. And now, at 48, my life was a sitcom. I had a complete cast of smart aleck kids. I had weirdo neighbors, pets gone crazy, co-workers who were nuts. I had a series of ex-husbands, a medley of dating fiascos. My travel budget, well, let's just say, it wobbled between, you can go to the beach next year maybe, and you gotta be joking. I had to accept the fact that it was too late now to go backpacking by myself through Europe. That I was too scared and too persnickety to bunk in with strangers in hostels. I was too wrinkled up to go clubbing in Rio, right? Still, the idea that I could reclaim my lost youth didn't go away. The years ticked by. I watched Obama's hair go gray. It only appeased me to a certain point. The idea took root in the back of my mind that maybe I could still strike out on my own and see the world. And yes, maybe sometimes I'd be lonely, and sometimes I'd be scared, and a whole lot of times I'd be lost, because that's me. But how many other times would I be inspired, amazed, exhilarated? It took some planning and a lot of luck, but eventually, I launched my long-delayed gap year. The travel magazines have since dubbed what I did a gray gap year. My family and friends just called it that year Kay wandered off. And wander I did. Because I didn't want to be a tourist. I didn't want to just see the sights. I wanted to be like that woman from those 1980s commercials who said, I'm not going to grow old gracefully, I'm going to fight it every step of the way. Let me save you some time. You can't fight it. You can't fight getting old. But you can enjoy it. You can embrace it. You can use all your wisdom and all your experience to unravel every problem you encounter. For example, let's say you got on the wrong train, and now you're in the wrong country, and it's the middle of the night, and you have nowhere to go. Or, for example, you are lured into a Portuguese brothel, and now you've got to figure out how to quietly get away from your captors, your new friends, and escape, leave. Not that either of those things ever happened to me. I'm just saying. There's always a solution, and your aging brain is eager and willing to tackle it. Researchers at Harvard Medical School say that our brains absolutely slow down as we age, but that we compensate by using more brain power. that we don't think things through as swiftly as we used to, but we think with more depth, with more nuance. Let's call it the Rocky Marciano effect. Marciano was a championship boxer known for his slowness, but he was undefeated. He was undefeated because he made up for his speed with his punch. As I wandered, I realized that enriching experiences and mind-challenging situations continued to help my aging brain stay on top of things. One of the biggest challenges I faced was making connections with strangers who didn't share my language, didn't share my culture. When you're on your great gap year, you meet all these people whose experiences and lives are so vastly different from yours that it makes you rethink everything. Jessica Nabongo, who's an Ugandan-American travel influencer, who's the first black woman to travel to every country in the world, writes that the people she meets on her journeys are the sacred part of the journey. For example, the Nigerian woman I met trekking the Scottish Highlands. Her husband had just died. She was bringing his ashes to Loch Lomond. In the Costa Rican rainforest, I was struck by night terrors, night after night. An indigenous woman of an indeterminate age brewed me a cup of tea, which was so oddly looking and oddly tasting that I was afraid to drink it, but I did. She sang to me while I drank it. And that night I dreamt the jaguars came out of the rainforest to protect me. And I never had another nightmare. In the Spanish countryside, walking the Camino de Santiago, I met a 69-year-old woman who was legally blind and terminally ill, and also carrying a backpack full of wine, which she was happy to share with me. And she said, "Don't feel sorry for me, kid. I've had some amazing sex on this trip." Across 3 continents, 8 countries, on land and on sea, I met woman after woman who's rejecting the whole idea of this magic number. And somewhere between Buenos Aires and Dubrovnik and Athens, I found myself rejecting it too. And I'm not the only one. Travel industry says that women over 55 traveling solo is one of the biggest growing segments of the industry. Women who travel solo as they age report that they feel empowered, they feel free, they feel confident. And as a bonus, all the skills you learn while you're trekking, they're portable. You can bring them home. You can apply them to your relationships, to your career, to your life. Once you learn how to navigate a foreign subway system written in a language that has an alphabet you don't even recognize, the California 101 does not seem like that much trouble. Once you learn that you can trust your own judgment at the top of a mountain, that you can have faith in your own abilities in a little boat when you can't see any land anywhere, and you realize you can trust your judgment anywhere, that you can carry that faith in yourself everywhere you go. I came home. I started writing full time, something else I thought I was too old to begin to do. I wrote about my travels. I wrote about all the people I'd met. And woman after woman I talked to told me how they'd spent their lives keeping their commitments to their partners, to their children, to their parents, to their community, but had such a hard time keeping their commitments to themselves. And you know, your gap year doesn't have to be about travel and escape like mine was, but it does have to be about search and rescue of all those not so foolish wishes, of all your unused talents and your secret dreams. Now, I didn't have a mentor or a roadmap for my journey. I just struck out on my own for good or ill. But you know, there should be a template. There should be a network of visible, vibrant, seasoned women ready to mentor you on your journey. There should be an expectation among our family, our friends, and our society that great gap year, it's a rite of passage. way better than a retirement party. It should be built into our savings plans and our investment accounts. It should be a whole genre of Hallmark movies. We shouldn't be smiling fondly at our grandkids while they graduate and asking them about their future plans. They should be asking us. They should be asking us, where are you headed next? Do you need a new backpack? And where's the best place to catch a sunset in this hemisphere? Today, I'm 62. The Social Security Administration informs me that I will live another 20.4 years. That's their magic number, 20.4. If you ask me if I had to pick a magic number today, right now, I'd say 506. That's the number of days until I leave for Iceland. I'm breaking in my hiking boots right now, and I can only hope that all the young people on this trip don't mind watching an old lady dance.